All right, so now we're going to look at more in terms of like drawing this in terms of a cityscape. So we're going to kind of work on creating something like this just to practice for your project. So we're going to start the same way. Line up your ruler. Somewhat in the middle of your paper is fine. It could be a little bit lower too. Make sure it's parallel and perpendicular to your picture plane. Okay, so like 90-degree angles here, and then parallel to the top and bottom of your paper. And then we have two vanishing points about a finger away from the ends. And then this time we're going to start with just on the horizon line. We're going to draw a line. Okay, so we're starting with this vertical line here, and then lining up each top and bottom to each vanishing point. And just draw until like you generally want to stop. Basically, your first building is what this is. And it's actually helpful for us to draw these ones going all the way back to the vanishing point because that'll kind of give us our road. So we can go back and actually draw those completely. That'll be like the start of our road or sidewalk. And then we can define our sides of our first building. Make sure your ruler is parallel to your first line. And then we can go and erase our horizon line that goes through our building. So funny. You can't be serious. Okay, so this is kind of like a corner of a building on like an intersection, something like this. So from here, we can kind of start to work on a sidewalk with roads. So I usually will extend this building line down a little bit and then use that to start my sidewalk. And I'll usually go back and erase that and then put some sidewalk lines that are from the opposite vanishing points. I'll line my ruler back up and kind of create that like square sidewalk. Wanted sidewalk lines, we would follow the opposite vanishing point. So if I wanted to do sidewalk lines on this side, I'm following this vanishing point. So I'm going to line up to this vanishing point and then just draw lines on the sidewalk, double checking to make sure that I don't move too much from there. And then stuff does get closer together and smaller as it gets farther away. So I can kind of start to like move my ruler less to make sure I'm giving that illusion that they are getting closer together or smaller. So as I get closer to the vanishing point on this side, it does do what it sounds like and it vanishes eventually. So we don't have to kind of draw all of those. Eventually they'll just be so close together that it's kind of just more shaded than anything. So if you wanted to do that on the other side, you could do that as well, but you don't have to. You know, most sidewalks don't only have little squares like that. Some sidewalks are just flat. Okay, so now we're going to draw a road. Okay, so we have our sidewalks, and then we're going to draw some street lines. So to do that, we're going to line up our vanishing point and then draw 2 lines. And if we wanted to measure from the center, we could kind of look at how far away from the center we are. So maybe this is about 2 inches, so I'm going to want to make sure I'm 2 inches away from the center on this side too. If I wanted even road lines, so I'll line up to this one and then draw that way. So this will be kind of like the end of our road. And then if we wanted some straight lines here, like those double lines or bumped, we're going to then line our ruler up. If we want to try and get them as center as possible, you can line up your ruler to a part that is like a perfect measurement. So I can find 2 inches here and then just make a tick mark on my 1 inch. So that gives me a 1 inch, like perfectly in the middle lines. So I do the same thing on this side, find 2 inches and then 1 inch again. So if I wanted to make these lines like dash, like road lines are sometimes, I could go back and erase, and I would just erase closer together as it gets farther into the distance. And eventually, again, it kind of does like vanish in from our eyesight, so you don't have to like keep erasing it. It'll kind of just look like a straight line. We could keep like them solid again because road lines are solid. Okay, so you guys are also going to need to have 5 buildings or 6 buildings on your project paper. So I'm going to show you guys how to kind of put buildings next to each other and behind other buildings too. So if we were going to put a building right next to this one, we kind of already have the corner to that building here. So we're just going to use this corner and we can like make this building a little bit higher or lower. If we're going to make it lower, I'm just going to line my ruler up to this vanishing point and basically just define the top of that building, going back to the vanishing point, and then define the other end of it, making sure your ruler's parallel. Go straight down to the sidewalk, and then erase the horizon line that goes through. So now you have another building just kind of stacked right next to your other building, like you would kind of see like in a city. If we wanted to do one where it was like maybe there's an alleyway, some space in between. So we're gonna leave space in between. And this will be like the corner of our building. We'll make this one a little bit taller so you can kind of see that too. So this is the new corner of our building. So we're gonna make top and bottom going back to each vanishing point. And I'll stop drawing once I hit this building, because technically, if this building kept going on, it's like behind this first building. lot of people do forget this little corner right here. If we didn't add this corner, it'd kind of look like the end of the building was right here, and the perspective would be a little off. Then we'll define this side. So that's kind of how you would put buildings right next to each other. We can also kind of put taller buildings behind these buildings as well. The way we do that is add just a vertical line, and then we are defining just the top part because the bottom of our building is kind of hidden by our closer buildings. A building, maybe like a skyscraper or something behind these buildings. So you could keep like stacking buildings back all the way back. We have a couple different requirements you guys have to follow. All of these are in those step-by-step instructions in Google Classroom. As long as we mix black and white into it, it's still not